Hello, the new superpower of the PrimeVue libraries is the pass-through props feature, which I will call PT from now on. So the PT allows you to access the component internals to add any attribute or property that you would like to add. And this will give you flexibility over these built-in components that someone else created for you, because now you have the options to add these more customization options. And especially when you combine it with unstyled mode, since you have the power over the class and styling, you will be able to fully skin the components using the CSS library of your choice, like Tailwind or Bootstrap. So to explain the concept of PT, I've created a series of tutorials, and this is the first one. So let's dive in and get started with the pass-through properties.
Okay, so let's begin with the official documentation. Let's check out the pass-through section here. This documentation covers the basics, which is how to apply a pass-through configuration to a certain component, and then moves on to the lifecycle, which allows you to hook into the lifecycle methods like mounted and before update and things like that. And also there's a global configuration to apply PT to all the components in your application, and also adding custom CSS and use pass-through to customize a preset like Tailwind. So, but this video is all about introduction. So let's begin with the basics. Let's check out the Dropdown. Here's a nice Dropdown. And now I would like to add a PT configuration to it. And this one will customize. If you check out the pass-through section here, there is the set of sections. We have exposed all the DOM elements of a component. I'm interested in the panel, for example, for the sake of the simplicity of this tutorial. So the panel is here. That's the name, number 6. And I'm going to get the panel and add a class, my panel class, let's say. Okay, let's check out the features and let's see the in the inspector. Let's check out this one in the inspect. Now that's the panel, and I should be able to see my panel class here. We use the view teleport to move stuff to the body, so which can be configurable. But here is the my panel class, and you can also add anything else like using my panel. Class is special. When you pass a string, it becomes the style class. Let's say my panel, and let's say ID X PrimeVue. So an arbitrary attribute and regular HTML ID. You can use test automation ID and stuff as well, some style. Let's see what we have. Here is the my panel. Prime equals to view and ID is X. To make sure, you know, if you're like me, you would use the red border trick, debugging trick on CSS to make sure your CSS is here, but it's here as well. Quite nice. And I would like to update another section, which can be the root here, number 1. And we are passing a lot of stuff here, like the properties of the component, state, context, and global, which are very well documented here. So if you check out the drop-down state, I have ID focused and overlay visible. So what I'm going to try to do it, I would like to conditionally apply a class to the root if the drop-down is open. So let's go to the root, get the state, and we are supporting the array syntax of the vbind when it's quite nice, so that you can add strings, conditional, and so on. My drop down here, and this class should only get applied if the overlay is visible. And let's see. Okay, now let's go to drop down again, features, New York. Where's the root? Here is the root and P overlay open. My drop down is here, as you can see, and let's make it something like this. My drop down open. My drop down open is here, but when I close it, it goes away. So that you can do some conditional logic. You have access to the prop, state, and almost everything. Instance as well, in case you like to play with it. So nice thing about this you don't need to repeat yourself. You can get this configuration applied globally. That's what we did in the presets. When you combine it with unstyled, you can have a fully themed library using the global configuration. But right now, let's try to make it to reuse this configuration to all drop-down elements if you're happy with it, because as you can see, this drop-down doesn't have it. So I get my PT configuration here. I'm just moving away. I go to PrimeVue. You know, there's a PrimeVue is a plugin you need to install, and here there's a PT configuration that applies to the old components. So I'm only interested in drop-downs, and that should be it. So PT configuration of PrimeVue applies globally, and I'm interested in drop-down. You can have more components here, comma separated, and I'm just playing with the root and panel sections. Okay, let's see. This one works. This one also works. So all my drop-downs receive this configuration. So as you can guess, if you combine it with unstyled mode, if you use tailwind classes or some bootstrap classes, you can entirely skin your UI library. You can implement your design system, but that's for another video. So thank you for joining me. We will more videos about PT are coming up soon, and stay tuned and see you on the next video. Thank you.